Morning, this is the Vekol Valley, and I'm going to break here to talk about something a little different today, a book.
500 Essential Anime Movies.
Today, instead of talking about an anime, I'm going to talk about a book about anime. I still like books. I read novels and nonfiction alike the old-fashioned way, from the printed page. Helen McCarthy is a venerable author who's been writing about anime and manga for some time. Her latest book is 500 Essential Anime Movies. It was the title that intrigued me. I don't think I could name 500 anime movies at all, much less 500 good ones. Well, it turns out our definition of movies is pretty broad here and includes not just movies, but OVAs, OVA series, and even a few TV series. I was depressed that I knew most of the titles already because I must watch way too much TV. Ms. McCarthy has limited herself to anime titles with English language releases, either in her native Britain or somewhere else in the English-speaking world. Some longer TV series end up being represented by their movie reincarnations, so well-known series such as Evangelion, Escaflowne, Kimagure Orange Road, Inuyasha, Mobile Suit Gundam, and Cowboy Bebop end up being represented by their movie incarnations only. The book divides its 500 titles into categories, such as science fiction, fantasy, and school and sports. She has 9 categories in all. I think the idea is to make it easier to browse for titles in your specific areas of interest. One category is called Love and Death, which coincidentally is the title of a very funny Woody Allen movie that spoofs 19th century Russian literature. In this book, that category holds an eclectic range of titles. In what universe do Grave of the Fireflies and Sailor Moon fit into the same category? There's also plenty of overlap between categories, so while you'll find Voices of a Distant Star filed under Robots and Mecha, it could be just as equally as well at home under science fiction, or Love and Death for that matter. Within each category, Ms. McCarthy gives her top 10 choices, and then a longer best of the rest section. Titles in each section are listed alphabetically, not ranked by descending quality, so it's not an absolute ranking of anime. There's no number 1, number 2. It's the top 10 alphabetically. The book devotes 2 facing pages to each of the top 10 titles in each category, and then a page or less to each of the rest of the titles. For each anime, the book lists key staff members, such as the director, writer, and music composer, plus the date and running time. There are a few paragraphs of text, plus a couple of brightly colored pictures that tell a little bit about what the anime is about, and sometimes gives a critical appraisal, or why she thinks it's significant. And she's assigned a quick rating, 1 to 5 stars, to each of the titles. It may be surprising in a book limited to 500 anime that there are even some 1-star videos included. At the end of each description, she lists a couple of other related titles that you might like if you like this one, sort of like Amazon's Others Also Purchased listings. Luckily, if you're looking for a specific title, there's an alphabetical index by title at the back of the book, but you will have to guess the title name correctly. So some Gundam is under G, and some is under M for Mobile Suit Gundam. And 5-star stories is listed under T for the 5-star stories. And I found at least one entry, Yotoden, that pointed to the wrong page. Only English titles are provided, and I found some familiar anime listed under unfamiliar titles. For example, the old OVA series that we used to call Tekiwa Kaizoku appears only as Galactic Pirates. Sadly, there's no comprehensive index by creative staff members, so if you want to know what else Katsuhiro Tomo was involved in, or if that guy Miyazaki made anything besides Nausicaa, you're going to have to flip through the whole darn book, or put the book down and use Google. If you're inclined to debate artistic taste, there's a lot to argue about here. Why is Nausicaa under science fiction and Laputa under fantasy? Why is Armitage III given 5 stars? There are differences of taste on such things, and those differences are inevitable. You can also argue about some editorial choices on what's included. The Blackjack OVAs are all listed separately, taking up 6 of the 500 titles. Certainly Blackjack deserves to be listed, but other OVA series all got bundled together. Bubblegum Crash got included, but Bubblegum Crisis, the prequel that actually defined that sort of subgenre, isn't. Why is Gundam 0080 included, but not 0083? I said a minute ago that I like books, and I do. But I wonder if books like this one are relevant anymore. I keep thinking, where's the search box? Why aren't those named hyperlinked? Or at least, why isn't there an index by staff? There are much more complete listings of anime available online, such as the Anime News Network's Anime Encyclopedia, or even Wikipedia, and those web resources have many advantages. They're fully searchable, so you can look for something specific by staff member or title or anything else you recall. They're hyperlinks so you can click around through staff members and related titles to find other anime. And most importantly, they don't become out of date the way a book does. I can already think of movies that aren't in this book, such as The Girl Who Leapt Through Time or Appleseed Ex Machina, that I presume were simply released in the English-speaking world too late to meet the publishing deadline. It just got published and already it's out of date. Soon it's also going to be missing such titles as Skycrawlers and Ponyo on a Cliff. As a reference book like this, it just can't keep up. Physically, it's a thick, heavy, softcover book with sturdy, glossy pages to support profuse color images. The images are bright and clear and crisp, and the printing font is so small I need my reading glasses to make it out. And it's really heavy, which is why I didn't bring it here. It looks like it'll last at least until it's out of date. I plan to keep reading my book all the way through the book, compare the author's opinions to my own in some places, and maybe I'll find a couple of new things to try out along the way, but I'm not sure I'd recommend this to an internet-savvy anime fan unless they plan to gift it to one of their offline friends.
One final footnote, the cover art is obviously from Steam Boy, but the inside flap incorrectly identifies it as being from Tokyo Babylon. Oops.
Thanks for listening.